Hi, my name's Jude. I was diagnosed with head, throat, and neck cancer in 2024. Um, my cancer was HPV. The only thing that I learned about HPV was that my daughter had an injection in high school. So I didn't really look into it that much regarding that, just that she had to have the injection. Um, but here I am, HPV survivor. I stumbled across Velindre by a telephone call from Mapping. Um, they called and said, would I be able to, they'd had a cancellation, would I be able to make my way to Velindre? So I put the postal code into my car. Never driven to Velindre before, didn't really know an awful lot about Velindre, as most people don't. And arrived, and Velindre Cancer Centre was straight in front of me. That's when the reality hit that I was a cancer patient. So, yeah, once I walked in, the atmosphere was absolutely wonderful. They guided me all the way to Mapping, which Mapping is where they check out all or tell you all about your therapies, what you're going to have done, your radiotherapies, your chemotherapies. With my head, throat, and neck, I had to have a mask made, which was scary. They led me down on the radiotherapy bed, which obviously that was very scary as well, which it would be to everybody. They moulded a mask to my face and showed me how it would be attached to the bed. That was all done. Then they put a tattoo in between my breasts just so that the radiotherapy could line up with the area that they needed to be treated. So, yeah, that was all on day one of my experience at Velindre. So I found Velindre staff amazing, very kind, very open. If I had any fears or questions, they just answered everything that I needed to know, always with a positive smile and guidance. Obviously, my members of families, I've got 3 children that were very scared. They reassured those at all times. So, yeah, from radiotherapy, I had radiotherapy for 6 weeks, 5 days a week, Monday to Friday. I had chemotherapy for 3 sessions of 8 hours. So I experienced both ends of the scale. It was pretty intense, but the Velindre staff got me through it and they were amazing. Once my treatment was over, that was my new routine. So my bottom sort of fell out of my world because my routine had stopped, everything had stopped. Everybody said how amazing it was that I'd survived cancer, but that's not the end of it, because you have to still fight, because there's still after effects after cancer that you're not prepared for. So I could have quite easily slipped into depression because the family visits stop, the phone calls stop, people stop, and they sort of treat you different and look at you differently, I suppose, because you've had cancer. They're a little bit more wary of how you are. So I reached out to Velindre and wanted to give something back, in as much as, because they'd been so wonderful with me. So I joined the Velindre volunteering scheme. So I started off in pharmacy 1 day a week, a couple of hours, picked and chose my hours, met all the staff. They were amazing. And then I ended up on main reception, which I guide patients to wherever they need to go within the hospital. So the reason why I started to share my story was because I opted out of therapy. I didn't want any sort of therapy. I stumbled across Maggie's, which they asked me to do my first talk in front of funeral directors, which was a bit daunting. So once I'd started speaking and prepared my speech for them, I decided that this was going to be my therapy. So I've probably done 4 talks after that. And then I've just done one last Friday for the Maggie's ladies' lunch. And yeah, that's why I need everybody. If it reaches one person, it helps, or just an honest review of what Velindre is like. It's not so scary once you give your heart to them, because they give your heart to you. I think it helps me every way. I wouldn't be the person that I am today without speaking out. I never used to be a speaker, but I think it's so important that my voice reaches at least one person. I just think that's my purpose now in life, to be honest and open and reachable. So I would say to that person, don't be scared. Let Velindre do what they need to do. They're there to help, to answer any questions, but don't be scared to help. Ask for help at any stage, because that's what they're there for. They're like angels in disguise. I can't rate them enough. I wouldn't be here without Velindre.